Hello everybody, Charlie Slater from Waterworks. I'm really excited to share this new spa experience with you guys. Basically what we've done is gone to kind of a trend that's happening. It's called contrast therapy. So when we were going to come out with the next Vichy shower, we decided that we wanted to incorporate that into our design. And we wanted 3 ingredients in this. So we kind of came at it from the actual experience rather than a piece of equipment. So the experience has 3 ingredients: human touch, water massage, and contrast therapy. And we'll get into each one of those in a little bit more detail, but contrast therapy is basically alternating between hot water and cold water. So again, I'll circle back around to that, but I wanted to make this video and introduce you to our product that will be able to perform this cool new treatment that you can get into your spa. So we start off with the Blast Vichy shower, and I think the most significant, most obvious thing is the look and the feel. And where this came from is I went back and studied kind of where the Vichy shower originated back in Vichy, France, at the turn of the century, basically in the early 1900s. And it was developed in a little town, Vichy, France, again. And back in those days, they didn't have all the cool plastic injection moldings and the fabricating abilities that we have today. They just had pipes and some mixing valves. So what they did was very much what you see here. So they just had lots of exposed plumbing. In fact, on our website, you can go in, and when you see and click on the product section and go into the Blast, you'll actually see a photograph from one of the turn of the century Vichy showers, one of the original ones from Vichy, France. So in today's times, we had to use stainless steel. They were using black pipe or copper or whatever it was they were using back in those days, but now we use stainless steel. And we start with kind of an exposed look, and we need 3 operations of this system. And I'm going to walk you through the basic 3 functions that this shower does. So to start with, we have the main attraction, which is the Vichy shower. So this lever, when I turn this lever on, it basically feeds this hose and it feeds this shower arm right here. So that shower arm has 7 shower heads and a temperature gauge, which I'll explain later. And basically that's what this function does. Now each shower head, as you can see, I turned the system fully on, but there's no water coming out because each shower head has its own individually controlled, volume controlled automatic shutoff valve. So I'll show you that in a minute. So back to the system. The second system that we have is a Scott's hose. And again, same thing. I have the Scott's hose turned off, but when I turn this thing on, it feeds the water into this Scott's hose. The final system that we have, and this is what gives us our contrast therapy. So this is what I call the cold plunge lever. So when we pull this lever down, it sends cold water into, as you can see, I bypassed the mixing valve here, and we went right into the system and flows cold water right through into the shower arm. So we'll get into the operation of that. I'll actually turn the shower on. You'll be able to see it operate and how it all works. Obviously, we have a temperature gauge, and in most spas, they're going to run their Vichy shower at about 105, 106 degrees, 104, 103, somewhere in that, 103 to 106 at the mixing valve. Because by the time the water gets done mixed here, goes through here, up and through this hose and into the shower arm, and then out of the shower heads, by the time it actually hits the guest on the table, it's going to be about 101, 102 degrees, give or take, 100 to 102 degrees by the time it gets to the guests, and that's pretty much where folks like. Getting a little hotter, gets a little bit hot. So let's actually start with turning the Vichy shower on. Step 1, and most spas, they'll turn that lever, that's all the way on. No water's coming out because I haven't turned any of these on yet. Most technicians will come down to this very last shower head and they'll turn that on. So I'm going to point that shower head away from the table because I don't want to get it wet yet, and towards the wall. So it just comes on. In the Blast, our shower heads have some serious spray adjustment. Most Vichy showers, including all the other products that we have, the shower, this is pretty much your basic Vichy shower spray right here, what you're seeing right here. But what we do with the Blast is we have these shower heads special ordered. They're expensive, but they will adjust all the way from a wide spray to a thin spray to a jet. So I can get that all the way to a jet, which is great for massaging on the guest and getting some localized areas, which you'll see in our Vichy shower video. It shows how to do a contrast therapy treatment. But for now, we'll just keep them out here. So each shower head can turn on individually. And the reason we do this is because a lot of technicians don't want all these shower heads running the entire time they're doing their treatment. So they'll want to work on the front shoulders. So they'll turn all these shower heads off. So they'll come and they'll turn them off, and they'll leave a couple of shower heads running at the legs and the feet while they're working this area. So that's the reason why we design these systems this way. So that is kind of the basic operation of the Vichy shower. You'll find another video on our website which will give you detailed video and instructions on how to do the treatment. So we don't need to get into all of that right here. I just wanted to show you kind of the basic operation of this system. It's a very cool system, very simple to operate. And one thing I wanted to come back to was how you adjust the temperature. Cool part about the Blast. This mixing valve is a commercial level heavy duty mixing valve. Once you dial the temperature into this system, then it will pretty much hold that and stay at that level. So when I'm dialing it in at 106 degrees, that's where it's going to stay. I don't need to sit here and constantly adjust it back and forth. All I have to do is turn the Vichy shower on and off, or the Scott's hose on and off. That's it. That's all that I need to do. So it's already dialed into the temperature. So I want to just show you the operation of the Scott's hose real quick. A big education on the Scott's hose, and you'll have to play with these and kind of learn your individual spa and the little quirks that you have. So I'll touch on that a little bit as we go through this. But with a Scott's hose, this is a 1-inch hose. There's a lot of water. This system is a 7-headed Vichy shower, 2.5 gallons per minute per shower head. So when they're all on, that's 17.5 gallons a minute of 104 degree water at the mixing valve. So you need to plan accordingly, and we got a whole nother section website that walks you through how to figure out hot water called the hot water recipe. It's in the resources section. And that's for the Vichy shower. This Scott's hose with a 1-inch unencumbered amount of water, you could get 25 to 30 gallons of hot water out of this thing in 1 minute. So it will take, and it will go your entire hot water tank, and it'll empty it because it'll keep asking for that amount of hot water till you turn it off. So what we tend to do, and then again, it just depends on your spa. So there's a hook that comes with the system, and you hook your shower hose to it, and it's a big heavy volume spray nozzle. So I'm going to start by just turning this on like a quarter of a turn. That's a lot of water pressure already. So I'm already limiting the amount of water I want to come out of this. I need to budget the amount of hot water and restrict it somewhat so I don't just drain everybody's hot water that needs the system. So I can turn it on here with this. And you can see that's a pretty good spray. That's pretty good spray. And the more I turn it, the more it'll fan out. So this is great for, again, you'll see in our video when you're going to be going across the guest, right? And you can do more localized, and you'll be able to cup the water as you'll see on our website. But you'll see the water temp start to climb. That's because we're pumping a lot more water through this mixing valve than that system does. So it changes the amount of water pressure, which changes the temperature. So if you're using the Scott's hose for a length amount of time, you need to back off and turn it off a little bit. Most folks, this is going to be just great right here, and they'll be able to do their adjusting with whatever they want to do. And that's a simple Scott's hose. On the website, again, the video shows you how to use this and what you do with it to the guest, and we don't necessarily need to do that today. Basically, in the marketplace, the Vichy shower business has kind of gone into two directions. So one direction is our system and style that we chose, and that is hands-on. We design and manufacture a product where it takes hands-on from a spa technician to the guest to get the experience. The other direction in the Vichy shower business is automated, technical service. So you push some buttons and the system does what it does. So we stick with the full-on human touch. Now in the technical side, there's still some human touch, no question about it. But in our system, it's all human touch. So we've designed it in a way where we can do the contrast therapy. So we're gonna try that out now and use our lever that we've designed in the system. But I'm gonna turn some shower heads on. So on goes the Vichy. One design note is the Vichy arm swings, so it easily swings as far as you have clearance for it. And there's a tensioning screw right here. Because there's water pressure coming through here, it creates torque, and the torque wants to turn the arm. So you can change that by tightening that down, and it'll hold the Vichy arm in place so it doesn't just swing all by itself. So, contrast therapy. Now comes the reason why we put this temperature gauge on the Vichy arm itself. So when I pull the contrast therapy lever, you'll see that temperature gauge come down. So I backed off the hot water just a little bit when I had the Scott's hose going. So I'm going to turn it back up a little bit. So it'll start coming up. And now I'm going to turn the contrast therapy on. And you'll start to see that drop. And we'll just do a 10 count. So 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010. So now I'll turn that off and you'll see the water comes down to about 85, give or take, degrees. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I can assure you that from 104 degrees to 85 degrees, it's a contrast. Now I can hold it open longer and I can get more cold water, but you're gonna find, you're gonna start this off, most folks do a 3 count, then go to a 5 count, then a 10 count, then a 15 count. I like 30 count. And the water will go all the way down just below 80 degrees. And in a lot of spas, and depending on where you are, like if you're in Alaska, it'll go down a lot. If you're in the Bahamas, you're not gonna come down as much. But you still get the contrast and the body still reacts the same. It's not like getting in a cold plunge in a pool. This is a lot different. Body still is gonna react to the contrast difference between the two. So again, we'll try it one more time. So we'll throw it on 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. I can already feel there's a big difference here already. And that, you want to acclimate your guests to it. You don't just turn it on them and then not let them know what you're doing. You gotta acclimate them through them. Watch our video on how to do a contrast treatment and you'll see now the water's starting to come back up again. And on our system, it's not instant like that. You don't turn the system and it instantly goes cold. It takes a little while for it to travel through all of this. And then it takes a little longer, obviously, again, for the hot water to come back. The more you do it, the more it understands, the mixing valve figures it out, what you're doing, and the quicker that reaction will be. So for now, we'll shut this off. We'll come back and turn the shower heads off. Some other great features, benefits, if you will, about this system is being able to do maintenance. There's a video on our website about how to do maintenance on a Vichy shower, not just this one, but most of them. They're kind of all the same, and everyone's a little bit different, but basically the concept is the same. So in order to do maintenance, I don't have to turn the water off, find the water in the spa, and turn the whole system off, shut the whole spa down. All I have to do is come right here. And these are called check valves. There's your cold check valve, there's your hot check valve. And so all you do is use a screwdriver and you turn those things off. Now the water is shut off to the system. I can undo these 4 screws per the instructions on the website on that video. And I just pull the system out, clean the cartridge, replace the cartridge, whatever I need to do, and then put it all back together, and everything is all right here. I don't have to take everything apart like you do on other Vichy showers, including some of our own that you have to take apart in order to perform that treatment or that service on it. So very easy, all exposed, great system. So this is the Blast Contrast Vichy shower, and call us and ask us any questions that you have about it, any comments that you have, things if you've got something similar or want to share some stories, that'd be great. So anyways, thank you very much, and we look forward to speaking with you.